Hello, and welcome once again to the Dental Marketing Mastery Series. This podcast is brought to you by dentalwebcontent.com and New Patients Incorporated. I'm Howie Horrocks, the founder of New Patients Incorporated. Along with me once again is my friend and partner and the president of New Patients Incorporated, Mark Dilatush.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome once again to our podcast. We've got our good buddy Mark out there on the East Coast. How's it going, buddy?
Good. No hurricanes today.
Yeah. Actually, we're contacting a lot of our clients in that area to see how they're doing. So
yeah, hopefully everybody in Florida in the Panhandle is doing fine. We do have a couple clients down there, so
yeah, we do.
Reach out to them.
All right. Today we're going to do some dot connecting, and what kind of dots we're going to connect are the subjects of this podcast: overcapacity, pre-appointing, and promoting your practice on price. Does that sound about right, Mark?
Sounds exactly right. And the reason why we're doing this podcast is because just this week, I think more people are listening to the podcasts or more people are in the Dental Marketing Mastery Facebook group and reading it or something, because 3 people, individual dentists, said, "Can you explain these things more?" So today's podcast is about connecting all those dots together, because we did podcasts on each one individually, and I think the problem that the public is having, or the dentist public is having, is connecting the dots. So
yeah.
Let me go through a scenario here, which is a very, very, very typical scenario. I'm going to promote let's just say I'm a dentist. Okay. So I'm going to promote my practice, and I think I have to use a deal to get the phone to ring, because why would anybody choose me otherwise? And it's less expensive way to promote, because I don't need a nice mail list and I don't need even a nice presentation. I can just put a deal on a postcard and wait for the phone to ring. So I do that. And I have some other promotions. I have a website. I have some assets for my marketing, and people start to call. Awesome. So I bring them in.
Sounds good.
And maybe I participate with 2 or 3 plans, right? And so I can get on those insurance websites. I can get into directories, and people will find me there and call from there. So all of a sudden, people are calling. So I'm successful. People are appointing. They're going in my book. They go in my book, and they, of course, it's some dental law somewhere that says that once they're in your office, you have to pre-appoint them for hygiene every time.
Yeah.
Your dental license, okay? So I pre-appoint everyone. Doesn't matter. A monkey could walk through my front door, and that monkey's getting pre-appointed 6 months from now for hygiene. So I pre-appoint everybody. And all of a sudden now, 6 months from now, if you do this every month and you get a good solid number of new patients, especially this type of patient, and you pre-appoint them, it's very similar to the old analogy where you just start a snowball down a hill, and by the time it gets down to the hill, it's an avalanche. Okay? All you have to do is be a dentist and keep doing dentistry month after month after month, bring in these volumes of lower, let's say, the bottom half of the dental market consumers, pre-appoint them, and pretty soon you have a gigantic schedule filled up with people who originally responded to you, not based on dentistry you do, not based on any attribute you have other than whatever deal you put in the starburst of your postcard.
Yeah.
Okay?
Now, Mark, wouldn't it be fair to say that the dentist in that situation has created the illusion of a secure future?
Oh, no, the dentist is sitting there happy. They don't have any money yet, Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But their appointment book, okay, looks really full. Okay.
Let's say they haven't discovered that they've created an
Right.
illusion
No,
yet.
no. They haven't discovered it yet at all. Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So now we're 6 months, a year out, 18 months, whatever, however long it takes for this insanity to creep up and become a real problem. And in different markets, it takes a different amount of time, obviously, but eventually all practices get here that do this, right? They get to the point where the front desk goes, doctor, I don't have anywhere to put people because I just keep putting people everywhere. Okay. And they're just filling up the schedule. Hygiene's booked out 4 months. And you hear it all the time. You call almost any dental practice in America, hygiene's booked out 4 months. Well, that's because you just stuck everybody out there and you know they're not going to comply. Okay. Now, first part of this discussion was about promoting your practice based on price. The second part of this is pre-appointing everybody. Now you've pre-appointed 1,000 shoppers. Well, if they chose you based on a low price point the first time, what makes you think they're going to comply to your recare? Purposeful stop. Just so you can think about this for a second, okay? So you know in your heart that these people make these choices based on less information than you would like, but you took your time and pre-appointed them purposely 6 months into your future. Now your schedule is packed. And what happens when your schedule gets packed by existing patients? You don't have any more room for new patients, do you? Okay. So when new patients call your office, unless it's an emergency and unless you have a third operatory that's just basically sitting there doing nothing and you can double book, basically people have to wait. And how long do new patients typically, how long are they willing to wait? The answer is 8 work days. So if you've purposely booked yourself out with hygiene patients and you bring new patients through hygiene, you can see that there's almost, it's a mathematical, it's inevitable that you will run out of room in your schedule if this continues. And then you do. And then the front desk goes, doctor, I'm having a hard time finding a room for new patients. And you, the dentist, is sitting there going, I don't care. Look at my book.
Yeah.
I must be the best dentist in my state. Every patient loves me. If I just look at the book, I can stroke my ego forever. Okay? The problem is we know 30%. Okay, now I'm going to introduce a whole other problem that this creates. There's 2 more. The first problem is now that you've trained your hygienists to pre-appoint, they'll want to rip your face off if you change that procedure because you know why? It's easy. And they don't want to have this conversation with the patient. They don't look at it as a courtesy. They look at it as operational workflow. Okay? Oh, you mean we can't pre-appoint anymore? Oh, I hate this idea. Now I have to actually talk. Okay? That's going to be a problem. Here's the other problem. The poor girl that you hire to manage your hygiene schedule. Let's call her Heather.
Oh, boy.
Okay?
Heather is going to be hunted and hounded.
That's right. Heather, right. Heather, you've just given a job probably to the least qualified person in your office and made that person responsible for trying to get people who chose you the first time based on a price incentive to come back into your practice. So you hand her a list and a phone and say, good luck, Heather. Now, meanwhile, every month that goes by, another 30, 40, 50, 60 people are non-compliant to your recare, but they had appointments. So now Heather's sitting there going, oh my God, look at all these people. They're canceling. They're not answering their text. They're not saying yes when I send them an email. What do I do? It's blowing out the hygiene schedule. The doctor's going to be mad at me. There's 3 openings a day. These people don't want to hear from me. They didn't really want to pre-appoint to begin with. And poor Heather gets fired. She never had a chance.
No, she didn't. Mark?
Yeah.
Let's take a break right here, and we'll come back and see if we can rescue Heather.
Okay.
Don't go away.
Hey, Mark, I hear we've got the hottest product since electronic claim submissions. Is that true?
Howie, that is true. And let's not keep it a secret.
Okay.
So what we're talking about, everyone, is online scheduling. It's real-time online scheduling integration between your practice's website, no matter who you got your website from, and your practice management software. And it will absolutely 100% add more new patients, add additional existing patient appointments to everyone's scheduling system that's listening to this podcast. I think it's 98.8% compliance, meaning 98.8% of the people ever installed are still using it and benefiting from it. This is not a fad. This is not a dream. This is not something that new patients will avoid. They love it. They love the convenience of being able to do this. If you want to take a look at it, send us an email, Howie and I, or you can actually log on to New Patients Inc. and get this. You can actually schedule an appointment to see it right from our website. Imagine that. So do not hesitate. Take a look at this and get it integrated into your office. You will absolutely get more out of advertising, every advertising dollar you spend.
You're just going to love it.
All right, we are back. Let's help Heather out if we can. Or is
Poor Heather, probably the best employee, probably your future office manager in training, and you're destroying her, okay? Because you just keep piling, forgive me, but you just keep piling crap on top of crap, okay? And pretty soon she's just get buried. And she wants to do a great job, but it's impossible. No human being can do that job and be successful at it if you promote based on price and if you pre-appoint everybody and if you have a constricted capacity. So that, I hope, connects all the dots. For everyone who called, one person called in, two people emailed me. No, actually, one person gave me a message in a Facebook instant message. I hope this helps those people for sure understand how promoting on price, pre-appointing everyone creates an overcapacity situation, and how that overcapacity situation will instantly bring your practice to a grinding halt. You will stop growing. Your revenues will stagnate.
Well, yeah, not only that, you make a lot of people mad. They can't. Yeah. They want to come be a new patient. Sorry, no room.
Right, and you're spending good marketing dollars to have that outcome. Okay, so everything at the end of this hill is bad. Okay,
it's bad.
It's all bad. All right, and most of you don't realize you're there, but you are. All right, so Mark, how do we? Well, let's do two more things, and then we'll finish the podcast. How do I avoid doing these bad things or going down the bad hill? And if I've already gone down the bad hill and I recognize it's bad, how do I get out of it? Okay. If you are way down the road of pre-appointing everyone, and if you are over capacity, which most of you listening to this are, okay, the immediate fix, or one of the immediate fixes, is to block your schedule. Now, we had an individual podcast on blocking your schedule, so let me connect that dot too. Okay, this is blocking the schedule for new patients is part of the process of rolling the snowball back uphill. Okay. Even if your schedule is packed, you should be able to find, even if you have to go out a month or two, early morning and the first appointments and the last appointments of your workday. And the math you use is rather simple. What you do is you go back 6 months and you have an average number of new patients seen in each month for those 6 months. So let's say that number is 20. So the average number of new patients your practice saw over the last 6 months, that number is 20. What you do is you multiply 20 times 120%. You end up with a number of 24. What you want to do looking out in your schedule is you want to paint the first appointment and the last appointment of the weekdays a color. Whatever. It's not called blocking. You just paint it. It's you can mark it. It's some practice management software. They all do things differently. But basically what you're doing is you're giving a visual cue to everybody in the office that these appointment times and slots are for new patients only. And then you have a team meeting and you say, these appointment slots are for new patients only. Then you say, if you violate this rule, here's a jar, and every time you violate it, you got to put $5 in this jar. Okay. And actually, you might as well put it right up next to your hygiene department because they're the ones that are going to want to violate it the most. Okay. But after you get through this, you will actually have 24 openings for new patients at the most convenient appointment times available in your schedule. I want you to think about that. Okay, you're getting 20 new patients a month now anyway. So in the future, you'll be able to offer your newest patients the most convenient days and times and hours, right? And you'll have 24 of them, not just 20 of them. So your practice can actually grow. You can actually get more new patients each month. Now, if you get close to one of these openings and it's not full, every dental office has a short call list, and every one of your existing patients would love to take that first morning or last afternoon appointment because their 2 p.m. appointment was inconvenient to them. Okay, so plenty of opportunity to fill that opening. That's certainly one of the things you do to get out of this. Another one, after you block your schedule, is stop pre-appointing everybody. Stop the snowball. Okay, you pre-appointing is a courtesy. It's not connected to your dental license, and you won't go to jail if you don't do it. Okay. No patient that I know of in my 30 years in dentistry ever left a dental office because they could not pre-appoint. Okay. What it is a habit, and the habit needs to be broken. Your patients need to qualify for the courtesy of choosing the best day and time according to their schedule 6 months from now. And the people who qualify are the people who actually kept their current hygiene appointment at the day and time they made 6 months ago. Those are your A patients. Those people have proven to you that they are worthy of the courtesy. Everyone else is a B or a C patient. A B patient, is somebody who might mess up an appointment every once in a while, but for the most part, they're a good patient. You're just going to send them a postcard or a text or an email, just like you do everybody else. Okay. And they're still going to call. They're just not going to get their preferred day and time. If they ask for it, they're going to have to wait. They may have to wait for their next hygiene appointment, and that may motivate them to be a better patient. Your C patients are patients who are going to break your appointments anyway. The patients you see every 8 years, every time something hurts. Okay? But you're just not going to pre-appoint them anymore so that Heather doesn't have to chase them. Okay. Now, Heather got a big smile on her face. Okay. Heather's got a whole new lease on life. Okay. Actually, you might not even need Heather.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good point.
Right. And there'll be much fewer openings, last minute cancellations in your hygiene. Oh my God. Those will go down to maybe a half an opening a week. Okay. They won't go they'll go from 2 or 3 a day to maybe a half or maybe 1 opening a week in each hygiene column. You watch what happens. Now, if you do that and you couple that with blocking your schedule based on reality and you pre-appoint based on reality, what ends up happening, and you have to be prepared for this, dentists, is that emotional ego stroke that you get by looking at a full schedule. Your schedule is not going to look or appear as full as it did before you started this transition. It's just not.
But it's going to be real.
Right. But what you were looking at before was a fantasy. Okay. You created the fantasy. Right. So once it's removed, I'm just preparing you, because it's not going to feel as good as it did when you were pre-appointing everyone. Okay. But here's what is going to feel good. You're going to be paying people in your office much less money for their time to follow up on your recare. So much less. They'll be able to focus their time on actual patients standing in front of them, instead of sitting in some back room with a telephone or a headset all day, dialing numbers and getting answering machines and answering, and just leaving messages all day, trying to recapture patients who were erroneously added to your schedule 6 months ago. Okay. You're going to know really quick, probably within 6 months, who your A patients are, who your B patients are. And I think everybody listening to this podcast already has in their head, the 10 or 15 C patients that really. Right now, you're feeling kind of silly that you actually pre-appointed them before. So anyway, so that is connecting, promoting the practice on price, pre-appointing, overcapacity, what to do if you're stuck there. And I'm going to add on the front end, if you don't promote your practice on price and you pre-appoint after their first appointment, you will not get the bad impact on the back end.
Because you have a better quality patient.
You have a much better quality patient. They're not using price to choose their next professional cleaning, whenever that happens to be. Okay, they actually stick to your recare system. So if you shift your marketing, that's going to impact everything within that snowball.
Right. Well, great. I think you've explained that just beautifully, Mark.
I think we've destroyed it.
The poor Heathers out there are going to feel better now.
Yes.
All right. I'd like to remind you all, listeners, if you're not a member of our Dental Mastery marketing group on Facebook, please apply.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing too. This is we just released the update to Unlimited New Patients Volume 3. It's on our website under Education. It's a free download. Just go get it. Okay. So, that's actually a really big update. It basically takes Unlimited New Patients from 7 years ago and brings everything up to date.
Yeah. And actually, the original, if you don't have the original, haven't read it, that's also a free download.
Right.
So you can get the original book, and then you can get the update as well. All right. Well, thanks for listening. We'll see you again next time. Bye now.
We hope you've enjoyed our podcast today. You can find more podcasts on our YouTube channel, on Stitcher, and iTunes. Also on our websites, dentalwebcontent.com and newpatientsinc.com.